Right. For this deep dive, we're going to be jumping headfirst into the world of starting and running a small business.
Okay.
And looks like our source material is laser focused on two pretty key things, right?
Mm.
Understanding your customers and then also kind of sizing up the competition.
Yeah, if you want to succeed in business, got to know those two things.
Makes sense to me. So we've got a pretty comprehensive guide here.
Mm.
Let's unpack it. Let's turn all this information into action. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. You're absolutely right. Focusing on customers and competitors is, well, it's crucial.
Okay.
It's like, trying to build a house, but you don't have any blueprints.
Yeah.
Skip those two things and you're going to have a hard time.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And speaking of blueprints, this guide is saying that small businesses, they succeed when they offer the right solutions to the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
So how do we make sure we hit that sweet spot?
Well, that's where knowing who your customer is comes in, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just like demographics, how old they are, where they live.
Right.
You got to go deeper.
Okay.
You got to understand their psychographics, like what motivates them, what are they worried about, that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. This guide really digs into this idea of making these what they call customer personas.
Okay, customer persona.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of interesting. Is it like, are we talking like making a character profile almost for your ideal customer?
I got it.
Okay.
You're thinking in the right direction. You go beyond just basic demographics.
Okay.
Let's say you're running a specialty coffee shop.
Right.
Okay, one persona you might come up with is like, we'll call them the busy bee.
Okay, I like it.
So this is like your young professional, right?
Right.
They need their coffee quick, on the go.
Yeah. Got to get to work.
Another one might be the coffee connoisseur.
Right.
This is someone who, they want the highest quality.
Right, yeah.
They're going to savor their pour over. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm starting to get it now.
Yeah.
I see how having these detailed profiles, I guess, helps you figure out what to sell.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, I guess, market a super fancy single origin Ethiopian blend to someone who just wants like a quick caffeine fix, right?
Exactly. You're not going to sell a $10 cup of coffee to somebody who just wants to, wake up.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
But how do we get all this information to create these personas in the first place?
Right.
Is it all like stalking people on social media?
Well, I mean, social media can definitely help.
Right.
This guide, it talks about using a bunch of different tools. So you could, for example, look at your website traffic, see what content is really hitting.
Okay.
You can put out some surveys, maybe even do some in-person interviews.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely look at what people are saying on social media.
Gotcha.
Because that's going to tell you what your audience is into, right?
Interesting. So it's almost like you're doing detective work for your business, right?
Basically.
You're gathering all these clues and piecing together this picture of your ideal customer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more than just getting the data right. You got to understand the why.
You got to understand the why. Why did they choose one product over another?
Yeah.
Why are they buying this and not that? What are they struggling with? What are they hoping for?
Yeah.
This guide says, ask yourself some tough questions. Like,
Okay.
what frustrates my customer and what makes them pull out their wallet and buy?
Okay. So I feel like once you understand the why,
Yeah.
you can build a business that clicks with your audience.
Exactly. Yeah.
But even with the perfect product, right? Even with the perfect service, you're not alone out there.
Nope.
This guide also really digs into the importance of understanding your competition.
Oh, for sure. It's not just about you. You got to know who else is out there. And this guide breaks it down. It talks about direct competitors and indirect competitors, which is really interesting.
Okay, I'm curious about that because it does make a big difference. Explain that a little more.
Okay, so let's say you open, a gourmet burger joint.
Okay, love burgers.
Your direct competitors are going to be the other burger places, right?
Yeah.
And one's fighting for the same customers who are craving a burger.
Gotcha, the other burger joints. Okay.
But then you have your indirect competitors.
Okay.
Now, this could be the taco truck down the street.
Okay.
Could even be like a salad bar.
Right.
They're not selling burgers,
Right.
but they are offering another way to satisfy that need for a meal.
Okay, yeah, they're all competing for my food dollars.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So knowing who you're up against, both directly and indirectly, helps you figure out where you fit in, right?
That makes sense. But how do we actually go about getting all this information on our competitors?
Right.
Do we need to, put on disguises and lurk outside their businesses?
I mean, a little field research never hurts, but this guide suggests being a bit more strategic about it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Less cloak and dagger.
Yeah, less cloak and dagger. So we're talking like online research, really going deep on their websites, checking out their social media,
Okay.
looking at their marketing, even reading customer reviews.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then there's some really cool online tools you can use, like SEMrush, for example.
Okay.
That's going to give you some really useful data about your competitors.
So it sounds like you almost need like a whole spy kit to uncover all this information.
It does feel that way sometime.
But, okay, so let's say we've gathered all this juicy competitor info.
Right.
What do we do with it all?
All right, so this is where the analysis comes in. And this guide has this really great framework they call a SWOT analysis.
Okay.
So you're basically going to be looking at your competitors' strengths,
Okay.
their weaknesses,
Right.
opportunities that they have,
Right.
and threats that they're facing.
Okay.
And the idea is that by doing this, you're going to figure out, where are their vulnerabilities, where are they messing up, maybe where are they missing out on something,
Yeah.
and then you can use that to your advantage.
Right. So it's not about just copying what they're doing. It's more about understanding. Like, why are they doing it? How is it working for them?
Exact.
And then we can learn from their successes, but
Yeah.
also their failures.
Right. Absolutely.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, you can take what works and you can avoid what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And speaking of strategy, this guide, it goes even further. It suggests that we analyze our competitors' approach across a bunch of different areas.
I'm curious, what are some of these areas that we should be, kind of dissecting?
So they talk about marketing and branding,
Okay.
how they set their prices,
Right.
how they handle customer feedback,
Yeah.
and then, of course, their whole online presence.
Right.
And the idea is to look for, like, patterns, anything that stands out that you can then, use to inform your own strategy.
Okay. So it sounds like a lot to consider, but I get the sense that having this really, like this 360-degree view of your competition
Yeah,
can give you a real leg up.
it really does. It helps you stay ahead of the game. But here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Gathering all this info about your customers and your competitors, it's just the first step.
Yeah.
The real magic happens when you actually use this knowledge.
Right.
And that's what we're going to be talking about next.
Welcome back to our deep dive. So last time we basically put on our detective hats, right?
Yeah.
We went out and gathered all this intel about our ideal customer,
Right.
about our competitor.
Yeah.
But as anyone who's ever watched a detective show knows,
Right.
the real work begins once you've got all the evidence.
Of course. Yeah. You got to connect the dots. You got to draw some conclusions. And then you got to take action. Exactly. And this guide, it really emphasizes that. Knowledge without action, it's like a car with no engine.
Yeah.
It's not going to go anywhere.
True. So where do we start?
Well, this guide suggests starting with your products or services.
Okay.
And remember those customer personas we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Those are going to be super helpful for for figuring out how to refine what you offering.
Okay, so we're looking at those profiles, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to see things from the customer's perspective.
Exactly.
And we're asking ourselves, like, are we addressing their pain points? Or are we is there something that we could be doing better?
Right, exactly. So for example, let's say you're running an online clothing boutique.
Okay.
And your customer persona, it shows that people are really interested in sustainability.
Yeah.
They want ethically sourced clothing.
Right, that's a big trend right now.
Exactly. So that tells you maybe you need to look into using eco-friendly materials or, partnering with manufacturers who have, ethical practices.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about using those personas to develop our products.
Right.
What about competitor research? How can we use that to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, competitor research can be like a gold mine of inspiration.
Okay.
So let's stick with that online boutique example.
Right.
Imagine one of your competitors, they're doing really well with this personalized style quiz
Okay.
that helps people find the perfect clothes for them.
Right.
Now, you could adapt that idea, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you could focus on a specific niche like sustainable fashion or workwear.
Oh, I see. So we're not just copying, we're kind of taking inspiration and then making it our own.
That's it.
I like it.
And speaking of making it your own, this guide, it talks a lot about this idea of a unique selling proposition. They call it a USP.
Okay, USP. I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
But, sometimes it feels a little bit vague.
Yeah, it can be kind of a fuzzy concept.
Yeah.
But basically, your USP is it's what makes you stand out.
Okay.
It's that special something that makes customers choose you over everybody else.
Right.
It's like, your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
If you had to explain, like in a couple of sentences, why someone should buy from you, what would you say?
Yeah, it's not just a slogan. It's like, why should I believe in your business?
Exactly. And this guide gives some really good tips on crafting a strong USP.
Okay.
The first thing they say is to focus on, what are you good at?
Right.
What are your unique strengths?
Yeah, what makes you different?
Yeah, what are you passionate about?
Right.
What gets you excited?
Yeah.
And then they also say you should highlight what your competitors are missing.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, all your competitors are selling, cheap fast fashion. Maybe your USP is that you focus on, high quality,
Yeah.
timelessly designed clothing.
Okay, I see.
And maybe most importantly, your USP, it needs to speak directly to your customers' needs and their wants.
Right. It's got to resonate with them.
Exactly. What problem are you solving for them?
Yeah.
What dream are you helping them achieve?
Okay, so I'm starting to see how powerful a well-crafted USP can be.
Yeah,
It's not just about marketing. It's about connecting with your audience.
exactly.
But how do we actually get that message out to those ideal customers?
Well, that's where marketing comes in, right?
Well,
And
yeah.
all the information we've gathered about our customers, about our competitors,
Yeah.
it can really transform our marketing.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. We now know where our audience is hanging out online.
Yeah.
We know what kind of content they like. We
Right.
know what kind of language speaks to them.
Yeah.
So we can tailor our message specifically to them.
So instead of kind of that one-size-fits-all approach, you're saying we should get more targeted.
Absolutely, you got to be targeted.
Okay.
So for example, let's say your customer persona, it tells you that they love visuals
Okay.
and they're really active on Instagram.
Right.
Well, that means you need to be creating, eye-catching images, maybe some video stories, even collaborate with some influencers on Instagram.
Yeah, go where the people are.
Exactly. And what about our competitive research? How does that play into marketing?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it can give us some great ideas.
Right.
It can also be like a cautionary tale.
Okay.
So, are your competitors running some great campaigns?
Yeah.
What can we learn from that?
Right. Yeah.
Are they ignoring a certain platform that we could dominate?
Okay, so it's like looking through a window into what works and what doesn't.
That's it.
You can avoid making the same mistakes and maybe even take advantage of their missed opportunities.
Right. Now, you've been asking some really good questions.
Well, I'm trying.
And that brings us to another really important point from this guide.
Okay.
This idea of getting customer feedback.
Oh, yeah. Super important.
Can't just assume we know what our customers want.
Right.
We got to ask them.
We got to get in their heads.
Exactly. And this guide suggests a bunch of ways to do that.
Okay.
We could look at online reviews.
Yeah.
We could do surveys, create online forums where people can discuss things.
Great.
Maybe even host some focus groups to get some more detailed feedback.
Okay, makes sense.
Mhm.
So let's say we've got all this feedback. What do we do with it?
Well, now we got to turn that feedback into action.
Right.
So are we seeing the same complaints over and over?
Right, yeah.
Are people suggesting new features, new things we could be offering?
Yeah.
That feedback is gold, right? Because it helps us make our products better, make our services better.
Yeah, it's like a constant back and forth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We get feedback, we make changes, we get more feedback.
Exactly.
It's a loop.
It's a loop. It's all about adapting and evolving based on what our customers tell us.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about refining our products. We've talked about crafting this killer USP.
Mm-hmm.
We've even talked about marketing. Is there anything else we need to keep in mind as we put all this knowledge into action?
There is one final point that this guide makes.
Okay.
And it's probably the most important one of all.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's the need for adaptability.
Adaptability. Okay, tell me more.
The business world, it's always changing. There's
Yeah.
new trends popping up all the time.
Yeah.
Technology is changing.
Mm-hmm.
People's tastes are changing.
Right.
Your competitors are always trying to get ahead.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving world.
It is. So you can't just, gather all this info once and then, be done with it.
You got to stay on top of it.
You got to keep monitoring. You got to keep analyzing.
Right.
You got to adjust.
Okay, so this is an ongoing process.
It is.
It's not a one-time thing.
Nope.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It can be.
But it also sounds kind of exciting.
It is exciting.
I mean, having all this knowledge about our customers, about our competitors, it feels like we have a real advantage.
You do. You absolutely do. And it's that ability to adapt, that ability to evolve that's going to determine whether you succeed in the long run. Now, as we move to our final part, here's something to think about.
Okay.
What are some concrete things you can do, like right now, to implement these strategies?
Yeah.
To really use these insights to benefit your own business.
All right. Welcome back to our final part of this deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how much we've unpacked about using customer and competitor insights.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey.
It has. And you know what? As we've been talking, I've realized this isn't just about like business success.
Right.
This is about life.
I see what you mean. It's about navigating the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you're building a company or you're just, trying to figure out your own life.
Right.
A lot of these same ideas apply.
So if we were to take this guide and apply it to our personal lives,
Yeah.
what would that look like?
It all starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Just like a business needs to know its brand.
Right.
We need to know ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to know our strengths, our weaknesses, our values.
Right.
What we want to achieve.
What makes us tick?
Yeah. What makes you unique?
Yeah.
What are you passionate about?
Okay.
That's like your personal brand.
Okay. I like that. And just like a business needs to know its ideal customer.
Right.
I guess we need to think about like the relationships we build.
Exactly. You want to surround yourself with people who inspire you, who support you.
Right.
Who bring out the best in you.
Okay, so we've got our personal brand.
Yeah.
We've got our ideal relationships.
Right.
What about the competition?
Yes.
What's our competition in life?
Well, just like a business analyzes its competition, we need to look at the things that are holding us back.
Okay.
Could be internal things.
Okay.
Could be external things.
So we're talking like negative self-talk,
Mm-hmm.
limiting beliefs.
Yeah, those are your internal competitors.
Actually, right.
Bad habits.
Yeah. Procrastination, all that good stuff.
All that stuff, exactly.
Right.
And just like a business needs a strategy to deal with its competition.
Right.
We need strategies to overcome these obstacles.
Okay, it's a really interesting way to think about
It is. It's about taking those business ideas
Yeah.
and applying them to your personal growth.
But honestly, it's a little daunting to think of like my whole life as a business.
Well, it doesn't have to be overwhelming, right? The
Yeah.
key is to break it down.
Yeah. Smaller steps.
Smaller steps, just like in business.
Right.
So start with, pick one area of your life where you want to improve.
Okay.
Could be your relationships.
Yeah.
Could be your career.
Right.
Your health.
Mhm.
Whatever.
Right. Whatever it is you're focused on.
Yeah, whatever you're trying to work on.
Okay. That makes it a little less scary.
Yeah.
So we've chosen our area. Now what?
Now you got to analyze, right?
Okay.
Who's your target audience?
In life.
Yeah, in this area of your life.
Okay.
What are their needs, their wants, their motivations,
Okay.
and who's your competition?
Okay. So let's say I'm trying to get in shape.
Okay.
My target audience is my future self, I guess.
Right.
Healthier, stronger.
Yeah.
More energy.
Exactly.
And my competition is it's my bad habits.
Right.
My love of junk food, my lack of motivation sometimes.
Yeah, those are tough competitors.
They are tough.
But once you know who you're dealing with, you can start coming up with strategies.
Yeah, make a plan.
Make a plan. So, maybe you need to refine your product, which is you.
Okay, work on my
Work on yourself, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to figure out your unique selling proposition.
Okay.
What are your strengths?
Right.
And maybe you need to improve your marketing, how you present yourself to the world.
It's amazing how these business ideas, they can really be used for personal growth too.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's all connected.
It's about being intentional, being strategic, being adaptable.
Right. And not just in business, but in life.
In everything.
It's about learning and growing.
Exactly.
Well, this deep dive has been quite a journey. I feel like I've gotten a whole new perspective on things.
Me too. It's really made me think.
Yeah. And I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
What's one small step you can take today to better understand your customer or to outmaneuver your competition
That's a good question.
in your own life?
In your own life, what can you change, even a small change, to get closer to where you want to be? It's been great talking about all this with you.
Likewise, and until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep growing.